No, we appreciate it. All right. Well, we started recording yet, Kate, or?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So I'm going to kick us off. On the next slide, I'll introduce me a little bit more, but we do, like I mentioned then, we do appreciate the support, and I'm pretty excited about today's webinar, call it as a HR professional, smarter recruitment tools for the Redlands Coast Jobs Hub and the AirCV. So we've got a couple of great speakers on that um, today. I'll just get this out of the road. So yeah, my role is the chairperson of the Redlands Regional Jobs Committee. So I'm there for the period of our funding for the next 18 months. I was previously in the last funding round. So excited with the work that we do. And day to day, I'm an independent HR, people and culture consultant based in the Redlands. So just looking after small and medium businesses. So that's hence also why I'm excited about today's presentation, because the traditional forms of recruitment aren't working as they used to, for certainly for my clients. So it's great to have this to be able to recommend on our doorstep in the Redlands what we're going to see today. Um, so the Redlands Jobs Committee, yeah, for those of you that don't know, we're one of 12 regional jobs committees, and are proudly funded by the Queensland state government. So we're not an entity in ourself, but we are hosted by the Redlands Chamber of Commerce. So they were the ones that put in for the funding, just to give you the picture. And then we're a committee using the state government's funded money to drive our initiatives and work on things, jobs for locals. And we've got that through till the end of next year at this stage. And as you see, they're bringing, certainly designed to bring regional stakeholders together in that coordinated approach to come up with workforce solutions. And I'll talk to that a little bit more on the next slide. So we are heavily volunteer run. So my role as chairperson is volunteer. And then we have 12 committee members, which Chris joining us is one of those key members of our committee from all areas of industry across that, from youth focus to business, and then obviously state government supported there as well. Kate is our project manager. So she's the engine behind
Hmm.
what we do. And then we also have a marketing team that support through Crest Marketing. And as you can see, that's diverse range of expertise, but everyone's giving up their time to drive these initiatives and shape, as it says, they're committed to shaping a Redlands brighter future. So we're pretty excited about the work we do. So exciting news, hot off the press from last night, was it, Kate? Yesterday we got the email. So
Yes.
we had to submit our action plan to state government. Every RJC had to go through a process where you submit your action plan. Some had to go through and be refined and redrafted. And so whatever we did with our committee, we were bang on. So the state government were very, very happy with the action plan that the Redlands put together. And I think that, hopefully you would agree, Chris, some of that work we did in refining and getting everyone's input and making sure it is industry led helped us to get that across the line. And we're all already seeing some positive feedback from our Department of Education and Training colleagues that they're happy with the work that we're doing in the Redlands, which is exciting.
Absolutely, it was, Des, and I couldn't agree more with that narrative. And I think having a good sort of cross mix of people across various health industries,
Mm.
the hospitality space, it sort of just makes it whole as opposed to just
Yeah.
focusing on one individual area. So yeah, absolutely agree.
Yeah, thank you. And it's very much different for Kate and I. In the past, it was we were busy going to expos and career days and doing that differently, where the outcomes are very different with this now. And as you can see, the industry led, which is Chris is instrumental at the head of the health sector for us. It needs to be local. We need to be collaborating with industry, provide some actions, and use data to guide where we should be going. And that's, a key to the action plan. Whilst it's been approved and set, the state government understand too that that could evolve over the period of the 18 months, depending on what initiatives come up and what we need tap into. So these are the four priority areas that we're going to be we are focusing on already. So health and care, which Chris talked to, hospitality and tourism. So we've got Gordon McGregor from the Wellington Point Farm heading up that working group for us. Construction and trade, so ramping up in that space right now, and then emerging industries and technologies, which is such a big area as well. So they're the four key priority areas where we've got chairs in helping drive where our actions will come from. And I might have missed it, but back further, one of the slides talks to the key things for us is job outcomes. We need to be able to show job outcomes. So some of the things we developed in our previous funding round, we've got this fantastic Redlands resource hub. So there's an employer hub, a job seeker hub, and a schools, which I think we're going to rebrand, Kate, to maybe say education in general. So it includes RTOs and things, I think, from our last discussion, perhaps. But there's a wealth of information in those that you can use, how to become an employer of choice, how to create an inclusive workplace. Um, the last webinar we did, we talked about, how tight it is of a recruitment market at the moment and unemployment being very low. So you can go back and watch that video as well. So we do need to become an employer of choice. We do need to create workplaces where people want to stay. So retention's a key. So we've got a lot of resources around that. And then, of course, the webinars. The first one was that one, as I just talked to, practical workforce solutions. I think that'll be live soon, Kate, on our website if it's not already.
I think it's
Uh,
going live in the next couple of days, and then we'll send out a link where you can view both the first one and then the recording from today will both go live and be promoted.
yeah. So feel free to get onto the website there for any information you might need. So that's just a bit of a summary from me, who we are, the Redlands Jobs Committee, and how we fit in, what our work is. We're always around. Kate and I try to get to the breakfast as much as we can from the chamber and any opportunities where we can assist industry or you as employers. We're more than happy to listen and be involved where we can. So now that's it from me. I'd like to introduce you formally to Kate, who is the project manager for the Redlands Regional Jobs Committee. Amazing lady. I'll say that on the video. I don't know how she gets through the work that she does. No, Michelle's agreeing. And then, of
Oh
course,
gosh.
She's
Kate will.
awesome. My goodness.
Awesome. There you go. And then Kate will
Mm.
introduce Phil and the amazing work that he's been doing to support this and develop this project. So I'll hand over to you, Kate, and I'll stop sharing my screen. But thank you.
Thank you, Des. Very appreciative and a little embarrassed at the same time, but thank you very much for those lovely comments. I will start sharing my screen. Just one moment, sorry.
And thank you for joining us, Peter Hodges. I see that.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. And Peter has been instrumental also in helping shape from debtors' perspective our action plan. So thank you very much, Peter, for all your input.
All right, man. This is actually the first time I've used Zoom, so this is we use Teams only. So if I disappear, let me know and I'll come back.
Righto. And just confirming my screen has stopped sharing. Is that right? We're onto yours now, Kate. Yep.
I'll just check if everyone can see. Is it now a slide that talks about solution number one, Redlands Jobs Hub? Yeah, great, excellent. So this is just a very simple diagram to explain what we're now about to talk about, which is our very exciting, launched at the end of January, Redlands Coast Jobs Hub. And I'm so glad that you're all here because we're going to have the better presenter after me, which is Phil, who is the founder and director of the platform called You Work In that drives our Jobs Hub. And he's going to give much more insights and expertise than me. I'm still learning, but what I'm going to start with is giving you a live demonstration of how to create an employer account, which is effectively this part here, where the hub is there to connect local employers with local talent. And there's a range of ways that can be done, and Phil will demonstrate the more in-depth version, which is the AirCV and matching of skills, and the talent pool, how you can create your own talent pool, which I like to I liken it to a Woolworths shopping cart where you can add people who look interesting to your shopping cart and you can go back and contact them at whatever stage you wish to. So Phil will demonstrate all that after. For now, I'll give you the overview. So effectively, how did this come about? We had an old jobs board. It had no functionality behind the scenes and it relied entirely on jobs to be listed manually. It was quite clunky. We had no insights, no reporting, no real data to be able to utilize as a region what's going on. This new Jobs Hub powered by YouWorkin fixes all of those elements. It also automatically pulls jobs from major job sites except for Seek due to their privacy and confidentiality. So basically our Jobs Hub has a lot of jobs getting pulled, a lot of them automatically, and then some are through employers setting up their own account and listing them directly. So what I'm about to show you now is how to set up your own account, completely free, how to list a job ad. So we'll actually do a live demo. And the benefits of setting up your own account is that you can then use the extra features which you'll get demonstrated by Phil, which is the AirCV matching and the talent pool function. So this is our Jobs Hub, and I'm just going to click through to the website and we'll then literally do a live demonstration. So this is where you land when you first arrive on the Jobs Hub site, and you can see it's divided by audience. So job seeker, employer, and community has all the news and sort of general links. So if you come down, you'll get to a section of latest jobs posted, and then over here, a section for job seekers and a section for employers. So the quickest, easiest way if you want to post a job is to click post a job, or you can search AirCV. Both of those features will ask you to set up an employer account first. But before we go into that, I just wanted to show you a little bit further down the main screen. Again, we've got links, direct links here to off the platform. It opens a new window and takes you to our broader website, which is our Redlands Coast Jobs Resource Hub, and it's all divided by the audience type. So I'll just quickly click and show you employer, which majority of you are employers. It will open up a new page, which is resources, our main website, not the Jobs Hub itself, but our main website. And you can come down and what Des was talking about before, all of the resources we've created. So there's latest tips and insights. You can click through to learn more, whole heap of latest tips and insights you can see there. We then have a section on how-to guides. So all the things Des was talking about, how to create an inclusive workplace, how to navigate the recruitment process, how to become an employer of choice. You effectively just click on it and it will download an actual printable sheet. You can print it, you can hand it out to people, you can use it however you like. And then after that, we've got documents we've created, things like if you want to know how to take on a work experience student, all the legalities, etc., and create a record book whilst they're at your business, through to a checklist of when someone starts in your business, a whole heap of different tips and downloadable documents there, including our economic snapshot from the Redlands. So just wanted to highlight there's all these features. We also have videos on a whole heap of different topics. And then we have down the bottom here where our webinars will be. So this is probably early next week. So that's our main website. But if I now click back to the Redlands Coast Jobs site, we'll go back to either the employer tab at the top or the poster tab, post a job as an employer. They both take you to the same place. But effectively, if we go employer dashboard, oh, I'm already logged in. I'm going to have to switch across to a site that I'm not logged in on. So here's a site that I'm not logged in on. And if I go post a job, it will now ask me to set myself up. So it says, before posting a job, please take a moment to create an account or log in. So what I want to do now is demonstrate how to create an account. So I actually need to use an email address that's never had an account before. So I've got an old email from a long time ago that I don't use anymore that I'm about to put in here and actually create an employer account.
You just need to go onto the register, click register, that button there. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm glad I got you here, Phil. The password. Okay, so accept terms and conditions. I'm not a robot. And fingers crossed, this will allow me to now register a new employer account. Please check your inbox for registration. There'll be a link sent. And I'm just going to actually look for that on my phone because my emails are connected to my phone, and click the link. Okay, activate my account. It's a one-click button in an email that's sent automatically. And I'm now registered. So I should now be able to go to sign in up the top here. And fingers crossed, that's saved the password. Oops, hang on a second. Lab.com.au. Okay, for some reason it's not working successfully. However, it has registered, and effectively now, once you've done that first step, you then have a live working account, and I might just switch across to one of my previously registered accounts and log in that way. So I'll go via this one, and you click put your name and your password in, and it will then take you to this next page, which is post a job, because I had clicked on the post a job link as where I was wanting to be taken. But if you'd gone somewhere else, you can just click in here in employer and post a job. So it's as simple as it'll ask you for your job title. So I have created a demonstration job, which is not a real job that we have advertised, but I'm just using it for the purposes of today. So this is my job title. The company will be the Redlands Coast Chamber of Commerce. It will be, let me just pick something. We are a non-for-profit, so I'll choose that one. Location, I'll call it Cleveland. And then the job advert. So this one here, in fact, Phil, I might ask you if you could further explain the difference between if you want to keep the applications in the Jobs Hub or versus send the applications elsewhere.
Sure. So if you've got your job advertisement on your own careers page or another website, you can put a third-party link to that job elsewhere. It could even be a Seek job ad or another platform, and the applicants will be received at that link. Alternatively, if you don't put a third-party link, it uses the inbuilt applicant tracking system functions that I'll show you shortly.
So I might leave that because I don't have it. I don't want it to go elsewhere. I want it to stay in the platform. And then effectively you set up where do you want the job adverts to go. You choose the email address. How long do you want the job to be listed for? So I might actually choose a month. And do you want to keep this exclusive to community members for a period before it goes out more broadly? And again, Phil, just correct me if I'm wrong. Is that it goes out more broadly to you work in broader channels?
Yeah. That's correct.
Great. So, for example, there's a Logan Jobs, which is also powered by You Working. Obviously, it's not that far between Logan and the Redlands. So if you select to have it just in the Redlands for, say, 7 days, then after the 7 days is up, it will actually also appear on, say, Logan Jobs. So you've got a wider market that you're promoting your job to. But it was preferencing Redlands to begin with. You've got complete control on how you want that to occur. You can then choose if you need additional documents. You can then upload your logo, which I have got my logo ready. Open it, and it embeds the logo. And then effectively, you can say who you're assigning it to. So I'll assign it to that email address for now. And then you just put your job ad. And this can be as simple as if you've listed it elsewhere, you've already written the job ad, you can copy and paste it. So I literally created this job ad as an example one, and I will now just go job description. I will copy and paste from there straight into the platform. And it tells people everything I want it to tell them. You can edit, do whatever you like at that point. You then press save and go to the preview. And it will then allow you to preview. This is how your job ad will look, and you can then go back and edit if you're not happy with how it looks by clicking the go back button, or you can post this job. So I'm going to post this job. Are you sure you want to post it? Yes. Once you post a job, it actually comes through to myself as the administrator behind the scenes, and I will then review the job. So it looks like this, and it'll sit in your employer account like this, and it will show as to whether it is, you can remove it, you can edit it, or you can match talent. And it's at this point that I'll get Phil to take you through the next steps of what's possible. So Phil is, just to quickly introduce him properly, as mentioned, he's the founder and director of YouWorkin. I'll let you explain the extent of YouWorkin in terms of the scope and all of what you do offer, and then what we have functionality-wise here for our Redlands Coast Jobs Hub, and then all the exciting features and how to best use them. So thanks, Phil. Really appreciate you joining us today.
Great. Thanks, Kate. I might just quickly share on my side.
And I will stop sharing here.
Okay, so YouWorkin, so we're a technology company. We build technology platforms for regions like Redlands, industry peak bodies and government, major infrastructure and priority cohorts. I'm going to cover 4 areas today. So mainly on the employer dashboard, which Kate kind of finished on there. So we're going to touch on the 4 key aspects. So jobs and applicant management, search AirCV and creating an AirCV, talent pools and how to create and manage talent pools, and then AirCV alerts. So to get to the employer dashboard, there's 2 ways you can do that. There's a drop down here with employer dashboard, and then everyone has a menu. Within the menu, there is an employer dashboard and a member dashboard button. So if you can just click employer dashboard, and then all of the employer functions and features are all in one place. Same for a member, it has like my profile and those sorts of things. So I've got some notes here. I just want to make sure I touch on everything. So I'll keep referring to my notes, and I'll just move you guys up to there. Okay, so first up, so obviously this is the applicant tracking system. So this is on the basis that you haven't linked your job elsewhere and you're using the inbuilt applicant tracking system. So first up, I've just got one job that I've pre-posted, a little like Kate did. There's 3 tabs: approved, pending, and inactive. When Kate posted the job before, she was an administrator. That's why it didn't go through a pending step. For all other employers, it will sit here in pending until it's approved by an administrator. When your job expires, meaning you've decided to close it or it reaches its expiry date, it will move to an inactive tab here. You can still access all of the applicants via the job in the inactive tab. And if the job is inactive, you can actually repost it, which is a bit like having a template. From the job display here, we can view the live job. So Kate showed what it was like in a pending state, awaiting approval. This is what a job looks like in a live state. And I'll show you what the applicant process looks like. So if an applicant clicks obviously the apply button, it pulls across their contact information from their user account. They add their mobile number. They can upload a resume or use an existing resume that's within their files, of which I have one. Or they can use their AirCV. They can add or upload a cover letter. For my test job, Kate had some sections where you could request further information. So I selected certifications and referees as an example. So the job seeker uploads those files, or they can upload those files from their My Portfolio area within the member dashboard. So it's quite a comprehensive applicant tracking system in terms of the apply functions for you as employers. So in terms of viewing applicants and monitoring vacancies, I've gone ahead and pre-applied for and selected some AirCVs. These are counts that will go up. So you've got applicants and people you've selected for your job role. That number will increase as there's applicants. I'll then take you to the dashboard. So this is the applicant tracking dashboard for this particular job role. There's some checkboxes here so you can reveal and hide certain people. So at the moment, it's just showing the applicants. If I click show selected AirCVs, it's now showing the selected AirCVs as well. If I archive people, because some of our jobs can have, 1,000 applicants, and you archive people, sometimes people don't want that in their applicant list, and we can archive those. So we work off the method of status and steps. So there's 3 steps in the process. So obviously I'm on the All Applicants tab. There is a Shortlisted tab and an Archive tab. We then have a function called Bulk Actions. So I just need to move you guys. So bulk actions here are grayed out at the moment, but if I select a user or select all users, I can access these bulk actions here. So I can move a large number of people to shortlisted or archived in one action. We then have statuses. So we have statuses against an applicant, and we have statuses against a selected AirCV. Those statuses are new applicant, contacted, interviewed, job offered, offered and accepted, or offered, rejected, and then hired. And so you can move people through those statuses, and then obviously everyone knows where you got to. Against each person, you can add a comment, and obviously you can shortlist and archive from here as well, and you can remove that person if it's an AirCV that you've previously selected. I'll show you that in a moment. Again, as I said before, we can have many, many applicants to a job role that you may wish to filter certain aspects of these people. So we have these advanced filters. These are the same filters that I'm about to show you around Search AirCV, but you can filter by keyword, previous experience, education, previous employers, and so on. Most importantly is that we have the matched AirCV or matched talent function. This matches using AI, the people within the talent community to your job role. So I'll click that now. So the system now is reading the job. So it's parsing the information of the job. It's looking at the AirCVs within the platform, and it's creating a fit of those people for the job role. So this job role was a barista at the Working Cafe. We don't actually have a cafe, but that's okay. We do have a coffee machine, if that helps. So again, it's used that AI. So a few things it's done here is it's taken that job description and applied this kind of summary or simple filters. We can filter people by the advanced filters that I showed you previously. And you can see we've got some people for this role. They're a fair fit for the role. The job's a fair fit for them. If I then dial up some of these aspects and update, it's now going to reorganize these people. So I've decided that this cafe role has got a high level of management, and so it's going to resort the available talent. And here we have now a great fit for the role. The candidate's a great fit for the role, and the role's a great fit for the candidate. This score here is the culmination of both scores of the fit both ways. I won't view their AirCV, so I don't reveal their confidential information, but I can then add someone to my general talent pool. If I have another talent pool, which I do, I've got a graduate program, which I'll show you shortly. I could add them to my graduate program. And importantly, I can select them to my live job. Might just do that. I can show you that in a moment. So coming back to the employer dashboard. Sorry, your faces keep covering my buttons here. I'll click on the applications and I'll get my selected AirCVs. I can then rank the talent. So I can rank the talent between the people who have applied for the job and the people I've selected. Because when we did the search AirCV before and the matched talent, it gave us a ranked order, but we want to see how our applicants fit within that group. And so if I click the ranked talent, it's used AI and you can see it's quickly ranked. This person is our highest person for the role at the moment. And you can filter those people by name, status, etc. Just take you back to the front page. So some tips to maximize visibility and candidate attraction. Against every job is what we call a job poster. These are used a lot. I'll just show you one. So you can print all pages or fit to one page. These posters are used a lot in shop front windows, and you can see it's a QR coded poster. So if it was a cafe, which this role is, it's for the You Working Cafe, I could place this in my front window. People can interact with the job, and the job becomes a mini billboard for the platform. So it means all of the shop fronts of the Redlands region have a billboard, whole platform for the benefit of attracting talent for everyone.
I love this feature, Phil. It's so easy for employers to, one, post a job for free, and two, with a click of a button, can print it and stick it in their window.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, it's pretty
and
cool.
also job expos there's a lot of job expos happening at schools, universities, within the local jobs network. These are a great place for them to be used as well. So going back to the employer dashboard, you can obviously within the job itself, and I'll show you on this tab here, each job is shareable. There's a unique URL. It's shareable as a link to email via Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and LinkedIn. Now, what I'd suggest you all do is, as much as you can, share your jobs onto social media. A bit like putting the QR coded poster up in your shop front window so the community can see your role. This is simply an online version where it can be shared into those social channels, and it brings people back to the platform for the benefit of everyone. So summary points is you can use the inbuilt applicant tracking system. As Kate said, there's no cost to do that. So it's a big time and cost save for yourselves. If you do have your own system already, that's fine. You can link to that system. But in essence, a huge value at no cost for local employers. I'll now take you to Search AirCV. So we were matching people to our job role. That's not always the case. You may want to search people in advance of a job because a job's coming in the future. Before I do that, I'll show you what an AirCV is. So just bear with me a moment. So this is the AirCV page. It sits under the job seekers tab. There's actually a pop-up straight after you register. Kate had some issues before. I think there might have been a space in your email address at the start, Kate, when you pasted it in.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
That's all right. But the very next step for Kate would have been a pop-up to create her AirCV, and then there's an AirCV page. So there's 3 easy steps for an individual to create their AirCV. They write a unique URL. This usually comes off their email address. They write a short elevator pitch about themselves. If they don't have a resume, that's fine. They just tick that box. If they do, they can upload a file. I've got one already created. I'll just show you that CV. So this is just a PDF resume. It's not a real person. Alison doesn't exist. But I just wanted you to see this is a standard resume document. So I've chosen that file. Now, when I click create my SCV, the cogs will turn. It'll create it in a couple of seconds. But what it's actually going to do, it's going to read the resume and take all of the information to create the SCV. So the cogs are turning. And here's Alison's SCV. So first I'll show you what an employer sees. So what it's done, it's pulled out Alison's information. She's now got a contact link. It's pulled all of her information as a snapshot. So it's pulled out the skills, the core skills and employability skills, and weighted those skills and the work experience and education. It's converted it to a timeline. And then we have a standardized resume so that you can compare all resumes. This for Alison is a printable document, as it is for employers. It's a QR coded document that she can use for her own employment.
Phil, may I just add that I think it's fantastic because employers will have a standard approach. They can look at a bunch of AirCVs and it's standardized, it's easy to read. And just to share with you all as employers, we have over 500 registered AirCV users from the Redlands already created their own AirCV that are literally ready to be approached by employers. So they may either be actively seeking employment or they might be employed elsewhere doing something right now, but they're amenable to being approached. Hence why they've created an AirCV for themselves.
So the SCVs is, as I said, printable and shareable through social media. If I just deactivate it, Alison can then upload another document, or she can go into each of these areas and edit or add another skill, etc. So it can evolve over time. We record when it was last updated, and that gives an indication or a signal to market that that Alison's active. So what does this mean for employers? So let's go back to the employer dashboard. We then have search SCV. So there's quite a few aspects to search SCV in terms of what you can search. So keyword, you can get really advanced with that function. We then have job titles. You can search by team leader as an example. You can search by experience and time or length of experience, specific skill sets, their location, their education history, and then into the employers they've previously worked for. To avoid that, you can actually just upload a non-live document. So this is a job description for a job that's coming. So I've got one I've pre-created called an all-round barista. And if I click match talent to that file, very similar to the matching to a live job, it's going to present us the most appropriate candidates for the job. And there they are there. So that really accelerates that connection between job seekers and employers. With someone that I'm interested in, again, I can use these actions to move them to a specific talent pool. And if I go back here, I'm just going to search the keyword barista. And I'll apply that filter.
And so that's a good point that Phil just raised. You do have to press apply filter and you do have to put at least one word in somewhere or it won't search.
Correct. And so what it's done, obviously down the page, it's presented us the baristas, but up the top of the page here is you can create an AirCV alert. So within the platform, job seekers can create job alerts so they can save their search as an alert. I can save this search as an alert, which I'll do. I'm not a robot. And I'm going to be notified every time a barista joins this platform for the Phil Cooper Cafe or the You Working Cafe. And importantly, if I go down to these people, again, I can add them to my live job and to my talent pools. So you can really accelerate that connection. I'll then take you to the talent pools. So go back to the employer dashboard, talent pools. I've created a talent pool already called, everyone has a general talent pool. You can then create a talent pool. So I'll just create one now. We'll call it You Working Cafe and create. Sorry, go Kate.
Baristas, several others. You could call it, this is my talent pool for the barista role, something along those lines.
Anything you like. So graduate programs, it could be specific type of people, but you can then filter people into those talent pools and access them whenever you need them. And then you can pull from those talent pools later and add them to live jobs. AirCV alerts. This is the alert I created earlier. I'm obviously saved the baristas. So these, I can cancel that alert. I can click on that link at any time and I'll be notified once a week of all the baristas that have joined. So it's a fast track to see who's joined recently. And you can see when their AirCV was last updated. And then obviously you'll receive those on email as well on a weekly basis. So summary there. So the most successful employers are the ones that don't simply advertise their jobs. They're the people that proactively identify, engage, and build relationships with talent before positions become vacant. So really getting proactive about your employment process and getting ahead of the curve. And I think from this discussion, it's pretty obvious that there's some actions that you can take to improve your chances of getting great candidates, but actually improves the depth and breadth of the platform for the whole business community by actively sharing your content, actively posting your jobs in your front windows, things that you would do normally, but doing it all through the Jobs Hub. So that's it from me, Kate. I'll stop sharing.
Thank you, Phil. Now we're really up to the section which is to allow you guys who are online to ask whatever questions you've got. So please feel free, don't be shy. This is your chance. And if you're thinking of this, then there's a likely chance that there's others. And because we are recording this, it will go up online and it's a resource for us to be able to share with others that'll help inform and educate our whole business community on how best to use this new Jobs Hub.
No questions from me, but I didn't know I could do this.
Excellent.
Yes. Very good.
Okay, what
How
have
have you
we?
found it? 'Cause you've recently joined, Michelle. How have you found it, posting the job and creating the
It
account?
was really easy. It was really easy to post. I didn't have any trouble with posting. Took a minute to work out how I had to apply a filter to do the search in the AirCV. And that was good. We haven't found what we need at the moment, but yeah, it's so cool. I can't believe it's free. Are you sending me a bill?
No, we're lucky that the funding from the state government, as Des was explaining, we built that into our tender and we have the funds to fund this platform for 2 years. Beyond the 2 years, it's anyone's guess, but effectively the mandate or our priority is to get this functioning for our region and make sure that we've got as many employers using it, as many job seekers using it, because the success is in the volume. So you do get those good matches.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I found it really easy to use. It's awesome.
That's great feedback. So thank you.
Peter, you
Sorry,
were
I
going to
think you
say
had a
something?
question.
Yeah, how many employers do we roughly have on there, and how best do you want us to get information out? Because, as you know, we're in the gap of retaining a lot of apprentices than convincing someone to take someone on. But quite often, a lot of people want a new apprentice, or they want someone that's experienced. Like, do we have anything that I can give to my team to when we're in the Redlands when we're talking to employers?
Yes, absolutely. So those business cards that take people directly through QR code to the Jobs Hub, that's the best one. I think you picked up some, or Tara picked up some not long ago, but I've got plenty more and I can mail them to you. And effectively can give that out to employers and effectively just tell them to create an employer account and list their apprenticeship, and they can use that feature, that match talent feature. There is, as I said, over 500 registered AirCV users. We've got more in terms of job seekers who have registered. At the moment, from memory, I think it's about 70 or 80 direct employer accounts. However, we want that. We've got a mailing list of over 5,000 businesses that are on our register, trying to encourage people to create a free employer account and then to use the feature. is more difficult than I thought it would be. But the reality is that it's literally a completely free tool. It's something else they can add to all the things that they're already doing. And particularly when it comes to apprenticeships and traineeships, like you're mentioning, they can specifically select that as what the job type is, and therefore they can be showcasing their apprenticeships. We do have a large number of what I would call youth, or those entry level, and we do promote, and it gets shared across through all of the schools, the 16 Redlands schools. So if they're looking for those entry level apprenticeship roles, I would highly encourage those employers, providers, to list their apprenticeships on the site and to start using the match facility.
Yeah, I think with regards to cards, if you could on Friday week at the YMCA event, maybe if you could take a few in there for Amanda, I'll be off. But if you take some in there, but yeah, I definitely think we can get those out to people.
Great.
Because we hear, like, out of your 5,000, who's ready to employ now? We don't know, but yeah, all right. No, that sounds good, mate.
Thanks, Peter.
So
Any other questions or features?
Michelle's line we'll use as a tag line. I can't believe it's free, but free to employers. And obviously, yeah, we've got a lot uploaded already. I didn't know about that. You can print those jobs up, put them in your window. So that's amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, we will print that out and put it in our suppliers' shop fronts. Because we don't have a shop front. But yeah, that is really handy. That's going to work really well for us, I think.
Yeah, and even Phil, we're attending, as Peter was saying, it's a Redlands Youth Futures Jobs Expo, which I think Michelle's actually online. If you're there, Michelle, but I'll print some the day before that are current live jobs and have some printed copies for the Youth Jobs Expo as well. Hi, Michelle, I can see you.
Hello, wonderful. Yeah, that's amazing. What a wonderful tool. I do actually have a question though. How has it been? Apologies for being late, and I might have missed this. How has the platform been advertised or promoted for job searchers or seekers?
So at the moment, we've walked around to all the employment service providers in the region and tried to explain to them how it works and how to encourage all their registered job seekers to use the platform, to create an AirCV, to set up job alerts, etc. How many of them then follow through and actually do that is the more challenging part. But as I said, we do have over 500 AirCVs already created. They're all Redlands people. It's not pulling people from outside of our region into our talent community. It's all people who are in the Redlands who have actively selected to create a Redlands Coast Jobs feature or profile.
Yes.
We've also gone through all the schools, so all 16 schools, asking them to put it in their newsletters, asking them to share it with their students. If they have a subject choice, that they can showcase the platform and encourage, like a business studies course, etc. And then also through social media, all our three main platforms are Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And their email network, which is over 5,000 business emails. However, having said that, we're still low in terms of our actual uptake. So I think a large part of it when you're talking to people is once they hear the one-on-one or they get a demonstration like we've just had today, it makes sense and they go, oh, wow, okay. There's no catches. There's no you're going to get charged something at the end. It's literally a free platform that they can throw into their recruitment strategy. So yeah, really getting it out there. And the one thing which Des and I were just talking to Phil about, what could we be doing to encourage more? And Phil suggested that our biggest gap right now is that referrals. So any organisation who has the ability to help refer and pass it on, that's where we really need to help use our network to get it out further than our current existing channels.
Excellent. Thank you.
And just
any suggestions are very welcome.
Yeah, taking the opportunities when we can. So next Tuesday, wearing both hats as a HR consultant and RJC, I'm at the Carmel College for a couple of hours helping year 10s in learning interview techniques, and they're going to be doing mock interviews, and the school have set this all up. I think they've got probably 30 of us from businesses around the region to come in. There's 205 Year 10 students going to be coming through in that couple of hours to learn the interview skills. So I'll be definitely talking to them in the RJC capacity about this is an opportunity where they can upload their CV and get it out in the Redlands region. So I guess taking our opportunities where we can, if that's answering your question too, to get it out there to the workforce.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
And one of the keys, which I think is really valuable to try and get to the broader community, which we're trying through particularly social media platforms. We've also put up adverts on notice boards in key shopping centres and whatnot, but it's really hard to get the message out there, and most people don't look at notice boards. But one of the key demographics we really want to try and encourage to use the platform is people who might already be in the workforce, but they're potentially commuting outside of the Redlands for their job. That's 56% of the Redlands community is in employment but working outside of the Redlands. So they've generally got a really high level of expertise, speciality, work ethic, a whole heap of things which our Redlands businesses would love to be able to connect with those people and say, hey, I have a job that matches really nicely with your skill set and experience. Can we have a chat? Can we potentially look at something that might entice you to work back here in the Redlands? And if we can do that, it achieves so many things. It helps support our Redlands businesses with getting the talent that they need. It also reduces the congestion on obviously roads and public transport and all those things. And the people who might be sitting on public transport for an hour each way each day, all of a sudden they could be getting 10 hours a week back in their life to do things other than commuting. So that's another target demographic we really would like to try and reach to ensure that they are creating an AirCV. Effectively, they just, as you saw, it takes about 2 minutes, upload your resume, create an AirCV, and they're therefore able to be found by employers. They don't even need to necessarily go and apply for jobs, just create an AirCV and you can then be found. There was one thing, Phil, I was just thinking, I'm not sure if it's possible to demonstrate, is once an employer likes someone's AirCV, how they connect with them.
Sure. I won't show you because I don't, excuse me, I don't want to show anyone's confidential information. But on the AirCV, you would have seen under Alison's name, contact Alison. That's a link. That link opens a communication tool. There's a communication tool built inside the Jobs Hub platform that enables the administrators to talk to job seekers, to talk to employers. It also enables employers to connect with the job seeker via that AirCV. So that's how that works. If it's an applicant for the job, slightly different. An applicant for a job would have provided their email address and potentially their mobile phone number. So it's slightly different context. Selected AirCVs that perhaps it's a matchmaking type service, right? And they may not want to be matched versus an applicant has proactively applied. And obviously there's more contact information delivered.
Thank you. And effectively that platform you're mentioning, say it's a match, that communication in the system, it's a bit like writing an email. It's just in the system, not in your external email server. And effectively you can then write to them however you like. You could say, here's a job I've got listed. If you're interested, apply. You could say, can we catch up for a coffee and talk about who you are and what you offer and whether I've got a job that might entice you. You could, as an employer, you can use that ability to connect with the match however you wish to.
With the site, if I'm not an employer and I'm not an applicant, what can I see? And the reason I'm asking that is quite often we'll get, hey, I need this sort of person. And to save the employer time, I can have a quick look and then go, hey, mate, now you need to register because there's someone on there. What can I see if I'm not a job provider, not an employer or an applicant?
Just list yourself as an employer. Create an account like you're...
I can't. Not as a government worker, no.
Maybe you'd have to encourage them to, and then they can search.
All right. Yeah, because it's better for us if we can have a quick look and go, hey, yeah, look, there's someone. So have you heard of the Out of Trade Register?
Is that the people who haven't completed an apprenticeship but they're
Yeah,
good way
naturally
through.
the business has gone under or something like that. We can look on there. It's just de-identified it's got their name, maybe the first name, but de-identified the suburb they're in. Oh, they give us an LGA, a legit local government area, and we can go on there and go, hey, yeah, look. So I'll give you a working example. There's a diesel company at Yatala, needed a third year. We scoured it first very quickly. There's a third year diesel mechanic on there. So I went back and said, hey, mate, register. There's one on there. And they're the employer's more likely to go, I'm on. Otherwise, they're just like, oh, I'm not registering for that. Then I'll get all these resumes I don't want. And so I'm just thinking if there's something we can see, if you're not an employer and you're not an applicant, just have a quick look.
Bill, do you have an answer to that? I don't, sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, the user types on our platforms, in the employer, the job seeker, and the administrators. So the administrators, like Kate, can see everything. You, Peter, would, as Kate said, you'd need to create an account as an employer. Then you can search the AirCVs and see who's available. You could even match the AirCVs to the job description if you kind of knew what that was. You don't necessarily. You could you even create your own talent pool for that role on their behalf. But yeah, you'd have to have an employer account to do that, or suggest they do that.
Can we have an RJC account that we can all use?
We probably could. It'd just go through all the notifications and whatnot to the email address that's attached to the account. But yeah, we'll look at that offline and see if we can get something working that you can access.
Yeah, because for the out of job register we have as our regions, we've got 30 field staff. I've created one for Southeast, and they just go in and have a look. You can't do anything except have a look. But it makes our job a lot easier to say, yes, look, we have a third year diesel mechanic, or we've got a yard worker or something like that. It might not be worth the thing. I just think it's probably something that we can then say to an employer, hey, look, we found someone on here. Now let me, and we have, like, even the out of trade register, we sit there and do it for the employer, all right? Because they're like, oh, I don't know. You know, so, okay, mate, it takes 5 minutes. Like, same as what Phil set up, takes 5 minutes if tops. So we can sit there and go, look, mate, there's one sitting in there. Let's open this up for you. Now have a look at it if it's doable. If not, yeah.
I think we'll be able to do something like you said, create an RJC specific one and give access to yourself to be able to access.
Any other final questions? Everyone? No? Did you want to share your screen again, Kate, for those last couple of slides? Is that all right? To promote what's next, if you don't mind. But thank you, Phil, for your time today and showing us the back end of what you've developed. We're pretty excited about it, like I said at the start. So there's some functionality there today that I hadn't had a chance to look at yet, which is great. And thank you, Kate, for both of you for presenting today.
Thank you, Des. It's great. The last bit is we just wanted to promote the next webinar, which is, as you can see over here, it's on the 16th of July. So we've got monthly webinars, one a month, and we are rotating between them being a Thursday at 10 and a Tuesday at midday. So every second one will switch between the two. All of them are free, and the topic for the next one is Unlocking Hidden Talent, Local Workforce Pipelines with a youth and mature work focus. So if you're looking for how to connect with those two particular cohorts, join that webinar, register and come along, and you'll hear some great speakers talking about practical tips and tricks on what you can be doing to connect and successfully recruit and retain from those two particular cohorts, which youth is our biggest unemployment cohort in the Redlands. Sits at about 10% unemployment compared to the standardised just under 4% for our region. And mature workers, we have a large demographic of mature people in our region, some of whom are obviously in employment and some who aren't. So it's about looking at how you can potentially tap into the cohort and maybe what you're offering. Is it attractive? Is it enticing? Have you thought about what you're offering? And is it going to work for, say, a mature worker or a youth? So that's what that series is all about. And then we have others coming up afterwards, as I said, monthly. So I'll send you after this the link that you can register if you're interested in the next one. And then this is just a bit of a checklist of from today, cheat sheet on what each of you can do as a result of what you've learnt from today. So if you haven't already, create an employer account, have a go at posting a vacancy, request access to search the AirCV candidates. So that's one thing I should mention, Phil, I'm not sure if we did touch on that, is if you want to access the AirCV candidates, you actually have to press a button that asks for access. It then comes through to me to review and make sure that it is somebody who's a Redlands business before we allow effectively the employer account to access the AirCV candidates in our region. Then the other things you can do is have a go at creating your own talent pool, as Phil demonstrated on the right-hand side. You can create a new talent pool, you can add people to your general talent pool, and then explore the employer workforce resources, which are on our main website, as mentioned. Go and have a look at those and connect with our Redlands Regional Jobs Committee, which all of you already are, I think, but keep connected, reach out at any point. And the similar message to what Phil shared before, don't just post a job and hope for the best. Use this Jobs Hub, use the AirCV functions and the expertise of our Jobs Committee to proactively identify, attract and engage with local talent that your business needs. So that's the key message out of today.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Right,
Thank
and
you.
that's
Hope it was
everything,
useful.
Kate. Yep.
Yep, that's everything.
Yep.
Yeah, great. Thanks everyone for attending and giving up your time. It is appreciated.
Wonderful.
Thank
Thank
you all.
you.
Yeah.
See ya.
Thanks.
Thanks all.
See ya.